Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of TradeTalk. I've got an exciting guest with us today. His name's Derek Durdivanis. I've known Derek for going on 7 years now, and we went golfing the other day, and we started talking about what would Derek do differently if he was able to go back and restart his CEO career all over again. There's 7 key points that he would install in any business he started, he built, or he created. And I believe these 7 secrets are the key to successfully growing a multi-million-dollar landscape or trades operation. So I'm excited to bring Derek onto the podcast today to share these 7 ideas. A little background about Derek is he's a serial entrepreneur. He had a successful startup go from 0 to 100 million in agricultural facilities. And today he's a Vistage coach, where he gets to learn from members, he gets to hear from speakers, and he gets to guide us CEOs on our journey. He's been my guide for, like I said, 7 years and going on. And I'm just excited to have him on the podcast. So Derek, without further ado, welcome to TradeTalk.
Well, Justin, thank you very much. For you out in Radio Land, just so you know, Justin is in a group of 16 talented CEOs with businesses that don't compete, and they're sharing ideas. This last year, he was voted by his peers as the most valuable player. So we'll just talk about Justin, most valuable player white, as we get started here.
True honor.
Right. Yes, it's really interesting. One of my members asked me a question. Hey, if you were to start over again, what would you do? And I hadn't thought about that. And then it was, well, Derek, if you were to buy a company, what would you be looking for in that company? And so I came up with, which is called Derek's 7 Secrets to a Successful, Well-Run Company. And so I came up with this, and just the quick background is worked for a family business for 9 years, led a shipper. I started a startup for 20 years from scratch, and that took a lot of energy and a lot of learning, a lot of mistakes, and a lot of successes. And I was a member in Vistage for 5 years, using the talents of those around the room to help me make better decisions. And then as I was looking at what's my next step, when I left my baby that I created, somebody tapped me on the shoulder and says, Derek, why don't you be a Vistage chair? And I said, I don't want to be a consultant. No, you don't do it. You don't understand. You're going to help people get what they want. And so for almost 17 years now, I've been Vistage chair. So going to the question here, what did I learn from that? We've got these phenomenal speakers, and I'm tapping in on that. I'm tapping in on my 50 years of experience. And so my business, my number one challenge was accountability. If I had a special pill I could take to make everybody accountable, everybody dependable, everybody saying what they or do what they say they're going to do, when they're going to do it, and have a great process. I come across the speaker talking about EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating Systems. There's a guy named Wickman who writes it. There's a book called Traction. So all of you on this podcast, write that down. Read the book Traction. I wish I had it when I had my business.
And so Derek,
EOS. Yes.
EOS, I want to ask, how many, in our 16-member peer group, I'm trying to think of this, maybe you know the answer. How many people are running on EOS? Obviously, K&D is running on EOS, but how many would you say?
There's about half. And what happens is they take pieces of it, and they're not using it completely, but it really is the systems of having meetings, not long meetings, but having all the things that are critical in a company. That book on Traction will tell you a whole bunch, but most of everybody, they're believers in it. But those that actually signed up with when you sign up with a company, you have a contract and they come in and they do the teaching. You could read the books like Lewis has done and do it yourself. Yeah. But EOS, platform for accountability. So that's number one for me. Number two, we had a speaker that came in from Philadelphia Eagles fan. His name is David Friedman. He's created this concept called CultureWise, using culture as a competitive edge. When I had my business, I go, culture, what's that? It seems awfully light and airy. No. Culture is the glue that holds your company together. It's the glue that attracts people. It's how you treat people inside your business and how you treat people on the outside. He sets up a platform on a regular basis where you work with him and his group and you select 20 to 30 key fundamentals. Now, on your walls, most of you probably have 4 or 5 core values. And as they say so often in Vistage, well, is it just on the walls or is it in the halls? And more times than not, if you were to ask somebody in your company, what are our core values? They wouldn't know. So culture-wise is a process on a weekly basis to review. And it's fantastic. It gives you opportunities to correct, first of all, to recognize people who've done a great job with these core values. Like, Justin, what's one of your core values that you've got on your, by the way, Justin,
Make it happen. Right.
make it happen. Yeah.
Make it happen, which is, we have these great speakers come in to talk to our peer group and they share these amazing opportunities. And I'm in the mindset of, why would we not do something like Culture Wise? Because who doesn't want to follow a company like Ritz-Carlton and the Ritz-Carlton way and the credo that Ritz-Carlton created? So Culture Wise is what I say, it's core values 2.0. It's giving your team the expectations of how to show up internally and externally. Another one I love, speak straight. So look, don't talk behind people's back. Don't gossip. If you have an issue with someone or someone's not performing, go tell them. And believe it or not, they're going to appreciate the straight up feedback that is all about speaking straight.
And so kind of sliding into accountability, I mean, I like your number 19. Be a fanatic about response time. So for all of you on this thing, when somebody responds quickly, I mean, but that is a core value of the company, and when they call it a fundamental, and it's like, hey, how are you doing? From a scale from 1 to 5 with your employees. And they look at that, and if somebody does a really good job, hey, way to go. If somebody doesn't, saying, hey, you just dropped one of the fundamentals. The K&D way is to be a fanatic about response time. So anyway, there are a number.
Derek, I want to say something real quick, and then let's go to number 3 on your list. But, I was talking to someone, I'm not going to drop his name, but he's very successful, very wealthy individual. And every time I text him, he texts back within 5 minutes or less, oftentimes 10 seconds. Like, it's immediate. It's almost like an automatic reply, but I know it's not because of what he says. And I've never had an experience like that so quickly. And I think this is probably the busiest guy I know, one of the wealthiest people I know. And yet he responds immediately. And I think there's something to that speed of responsiveness. How do you get that into your team? Well, if you don't tell them that's your expectation, what are they going to use? 24 hours. If there's a pipe bust that's leaking or a client that wants a new project, why not 2 minutes? So
yeah, I mean, there's just so many here, and of course, the last one that I just absolutely love is the have a growth mindset's one of them. I like it. Can do attitude, but what's great about it is not just those words, not like what you have on the wall. And by the way, you've got great core values at K&D, but up on the wall, it's like it then explains it. So here's what it says about. Be a fanatic about response time. Respond to questions and concerns quickly, whether it's in person, on the phone, or by email, or by text. This includes simply acknowledging that you got the question and you're on it, and keeping everybody involved continuously on an update of what's happening. Now, when you've got the people at the lower level of your company understanding what that word means when you say be fanatic about it and examples, it's awesome. So anyway, that's Culture Wise. It's a great plan. Maybe sometime you're going to want to do a whole podcast just talking about the K&D way, because it's pretty amazing what you selected.
Hey guys, Justin here. I'm excited to announce that on March 8th of this year, March 8th, we're hosting a massive action mastermind right here in Santa Cruz, California, right on the ocean. If you guys are in those frigid temperatures in the Northeast, opportunity to come down to some sunshine, stay at the Dream Inn, and enjoy a full day of networking, of workshops, and building your vision. We've got two amazing speakers. Steve Haru is going to help engage our sales force for 2025, and Aaron Huxley is going to talk about taking massive action in challenging situations. And I'm going to lead you guys through a workshop that will revolutionize your business, that will revolutionize the way you think about time and the way you manage time. If you want to make 2025 your year, you owe it to yourself to check it out. It's the Massive Action Mastermind, March 14th, right here in Santa Cruz, California. Link is below. Actually,
Number
that's a great
3.
point. Well, yeah, let's do it. Number 3.
Number 3, predictive index. This is an amazing 5-minute personality assessment. It's not a test. So in came a speaker talking about it, and in 5 minutes I take it. I go, God, that's accurate. I went to my wife. I went to my children. I said, is this me? Oh, Daddy, that's you. Oh, would you mind taking it? They took it. Oh my gosh, how do it know that quickly? So they have and so there's a personal side to it, but there's a business side that I'll go into. The personal side is I can take my wife's and I take mine. They overlap the two and they talk about our strengths and our weaknesses, what to be careful about, and what's really important. And as you all know, to get along in business, it's getting along with people. And if we understand, you can tell the way I talk and the way Justin talks pretty fast. Hey, I go to my wife this way, it'll steamroller. I need to give her time to it's no different, just she's different. But understanding that, I'm not going to jump on her for a quick answer. She's got to have time to process it. So anyway, with this, so culture-wise, when I made it number 3, and I actually put in prioritization here, it's number 3. First of all, self-awareness among yourself and everybody you work with. Really critical to understand that. And I know some companies actually have that on there. I think you have it at your place, K&D. They've got their predictive index. So when you walk in, you kind of know these 4 features of how that person responds. By the way, Justin's a maverick and I'm a captain. So I just get a little tease. But
And
so
I'll
what
just
happens
add,
is,
no, finish your thought. Sorry, go ahead.
so the part of it is many people use it to hire people.
Yes.
But I look at more as self-awareness first internally on the company. But now when you're looking at hiring an account manager, what you do is you go in the process of laying these features out on what a perfect account manager is going to be, which has got to be somebody who's got a great personality, is outgoing with that, but also attention to detail to follow up on things. And so you get these candidates and you tell them to take this 5-minute assessment. First of all, it puts them on the spot and they get nervous. They take it. Then you look at your candidates and you go, as most of us, we hire people that we like or people like us, and we think they're fine. And later we go, oh, I made a mistake. This will tell you what their DNA is on how they will perform. The last part is how cool would it be to go to one of your suppliers and say, hey, I'd like you to take this 5-minute assessment. Oh, why do you want me to do that? Well, I want to have the best relationship I possibly can. And understanding that will help me, respond the way that works best for you. And so it's a very unique thing, which really separates you from everybody else. So that's culture-wise number 3.
Predictive index. Yes.
A predictive index, sorry. Predictive
Yeah.
index.
And I will say, when you go to your clients as well and have them take this predictive index, and you see that they're someone who they're very driving, let's say, so they want immediate response. They're very quick. They don't want time to think about things. They want to move. Well, then you can attack that opportunity much differently than you would someone who needs a lot of time to think it over. And people who need to think it over, the best way to lose a sale is trying to push them to make a decision before they're ready. So the more you know, the better you can respond. So Derek, great number 3. So far we have EOS, culture-wise, predictive index. It's systematic is what I'm picking up on so far. Number 4, where are we going?
Strategic one-to-ones with your direct reports. It's really interesting because people go, oh yeah, I meet with Joe every week. No, the words are strategic. They're monthly. It's only for an hour or less. The direct report, you give the direct report a worksheet which talks about what are the top 3 things you want to talk about, what's not working. Anyway, just the information where they are. You sit down with them. They have to get it to you the night before, or you don't have the meeting. You sit down with them, and your first question is, what do you need from me to be successful? The purpose of the strategic one-to-one is helping your direct report be successful and team up and to have alignment with them. And you need to do it on a regular basis. It also is a time saver because all of us need to free up time to do the bigger pieces of our business. But if you know, instead of opening the door and someone walking in, say, hey, we got our one-to-one on Thursday. Can you hold it for that? But the other couple of questions that I love in a strategic, and I say strategic because more times than not, and I was a failure at this, you slide into the tactical. You slide into what's happening and the problems of the day, as opposed to, hey, Justin, where do you want to be in the next 3 to 5 years? Hey, Justin, I got some blind spots. And by being humble is a great way to be a leader. I got some blind spots. If you were running the company, what would you do differently? Now you've got during this closed door, confidential meeting, you guys are eye to eye. You're not the boss now. You're helping each other. You're now getting feedback from your direct report. Your direct report walks out after that hour going, oh my God, the boss cares about my opinions. He may not act on them, but he was asking. And he also wants to see me be a success. So strategic one-to-ones with direct reports is really good. But the biggest problem, you'll slide into talking about the crisis du jour, and you got to stop that. And I've got 20 questions that because my employees were older than me when I started my company. So I had to slide it down so they couldn't see me sliding these questions in. Like, what shouldn't we be what don't you want to talk about today?
Oh, that's what don't you want to talk about?
And as we learn also in leadership, it's not telling people what to do. It's asking the questions. So that was number
what's your advice for someone who finds himself falling into the tactical? Is it just to have some extra questions handy, or how do you stay out of the tactical?
No, it's part of that. But then maybe at the very end you say, hey, let's talk about this because we want to make this strategic about your advancement and your alignment and you being successful to your direct report. Hey, what percentage of the time do you think we went tactical? And just talking it out, both of you doing that, and because it's really easy because most of us are so short on time, we're going to use that one-to-one to take care of check the box on a few of the tactical things. So try to be strategic on that. That's number 4. Number 5, strategic planning sessions for the company. Annually is a minimum. If you can have it biannual or quarterly, and it kind of falls into what you learn from EOS. But what it really is, and I didn't know this until I was in Vistage, what's a SWAT? I'm thinking, God, that's got to be some guy with a gun, and but a SWAT, every company has an S, a W, an O, and a T. They stand for, what are your strengths? And you make the list of your strengths. What are your weaknesses? You make the list of your weaknesses. Those are the internal actions of your company that you can do stuff. But on the outside, you got to know, what are the opportunities? The W, T, is the threats that I can't spell. But anyway, so what happens is during a strategic session, and I hired somebody on the outside because I've had some really tough employees that were difficult to deal with, that happened to be friends that then became partners. That almost makes it. So I had somebody from the outside that holds everybody accountable. What you do is you review those strengths and weaknesses, which are the weaknesses are the stuff you're going to work as a company this year and knock them out. You'll come up with a list of 10. Well, we'll only do 3. Let's get those 3 knocked out. Once they're done, we'll get the next most important. And the strengths, we are going to enhance those. How do we take advantage of those? The opportunities, we're starting to talk, where are we going to expand our business? Because this is all about growth. Mm-hmm. The T, who can put us out of business? what's the cyber security thing that, but not a cyber thing,
Right.
attack that kills, or the competitor, what are they doing? But by talking about it as a team and putting a plan together, everybody kind of knows where you're going. And this, as a leader, which Justin knows, you get to use your number one trait, which is being visionary, and you're using your people to identify these things, and then you walk away from the meeting, typically a 2-day meeting, but 1 or 2 day meeting, you walk away and go, oh, I know where we're going. Problem is, everybody in your company's got a job already, and this is a job on top of a job. So the tough part is getting people to find the time.
I love it though. It's a great tool. And if anyone out there is listening and you're interested in how K&D runs our strategic planning sessions, which we've been doing for 10 years now, we have not missed a quarter. We've done it every quarter for 10 years. That's 40 meetings, 40 sessions. We've got it figured out to a pretty good degree. So if you're interested in how we do it with different departments and different regions and reach out to me and I'll share you guys the playbook of what that week looks like. It's pretty complex. But happy to share that with you guys. So, Derek, we're rocking and rolling. We've got a good system established. What's number 6 on your list of 7 now?
Got it. And it's one that I'm challenged with, but it was probably one of my best hires. But everybody looks at this hiring an executive assistant as an extra expense. And you know what? How valuable is your time? When you finally look at this, it's an executive assistant to leverage your time so you can do more. The problem is what we do is we get in, who do we think we are? Have an executive assistant. We'll just make that the receptionist and they'll do some of the little stuff for me. But no, a true executive assistant will pay off for you. You be really clear. For me, that person freed me up from the mundane things I was doing and actually kind of had my back at all times. So then really the job that I went through a number of them because it takes a while to get the right match, but it was, your job is to make me look good. I don't want to miss any appointments. I want to remember everybody's birthday. I want to remember anniversaries, all that stuff. You might need to pick something up for me because keeping me in front of the team and in front of clients was the most important thing. How you can do it. We've got one member in our group, Leslie, that says, and she didn't want to have an executive assistant. She says she has no idea how her company, which is approaching, $1 billion, how she could do without it. And she thanks me all the time. But you know what? It's a resistance because it looks like an expense, but it really is. It's a tool to free you up. And for all of you on Radioland here, a part of our job is to look at what are you doing that you shouldn't be doing? What do you need to let go of and have somebody else do so you can work on the more important things? So number 6, executive assistant. And by the way, use ChatGPT. They can tell you all about it and what are the characteristics you need.
And shout out Drew, who's my executive assistant. He's fantastic. He's become a close friend of mine. He is kind of like Leslie says, I don't know how I did what I did without an executive assistant. And now that I have one, my life is so much better and I'm executing at such a higher level. It'll push you as a leader. It'll push you to find new things to focus on that you never thought of.
Stuff like this. I mean, you give your calendar to that person. So if somebody needs an appointment, go talk to Drew. Drew takes the calendar. We had Justin getting ready to do a host review of his Vistage group. There are 16 people there. They're all very smart, critical, time sensitive. Drew is in there at 7 o'clock in the morning. The meeting is at 8:30. He comes in with his screen to set up for his projection. Somebody left. There was a part was not there. Drew, without talking to anybody, is off to Walmart to buy a screen that nobody even knows that we didn't have a screen, that we wouldn't have the whole show. And Justin walked in a little bit later. It's all taken care of. And if you get one like that, it'll make your life better. So that's number 6. Going to number 7. Now, I only had 6 to begin with. I love alliterations. What are your 6 secrets to success? But then one of my members, Chris Steinbrunner, who says, Derek, you're the ultimate salesperson. How could you not have number 7? Number 7 has to do with all of us need to be lifetime learners. All of us need to take a take a strategic break from a chaotic world once a month. And what it is, for me, this is what I love what I do, be a member of a peer advisory group that'll hold you accountable, which will question your decisions in a safe, confidential environment. So being a member of Vistage or exploring that, there's other organizations like YPO, and I will just tell you how I got involved in Vistage. It's kind of an interesting story. My partner at Fresh Network, my produce company I created, he and I were 50-50 partners. He's 50 years older than me. He's running 15 companies. And I'm in Cincinnati. Right now, he's the president and CEO of the Cincinnati Reds. I'm in his office. I walk in. The door shuts behind me. He pushes a button at his desk. He's on the 20th floor above Ohio River. I sit down. Yeah, Bob, what is it? And I'm kind of a cocky 32, 33-year-old. He goes, he's smoking a cigar. Well, Derek, I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made. I want you to do me a favor. I go, Bob, you got 15 companies. You go, yeah, I'm pretty smart. I went to Georgetown University and I went to Wharton Business School. You know, that's the best business school in the United States. I'm the smart guy. But it wasn't until I joined a group of local peers that questioned my great decisions that my decisions went from being good to great. Get into a group. And I looked at him like during the headlights. What are you talking about? He said, well, there's something called YPO. There's Vistage. And that's how I got involved in Vistage. It was all because of that. And that's what it is. So, putting yourself out there. And guess what? None of you on this podcast have the time to take a day off.
Yeah.
You'll say, as Justin says, I can't afford not to. Because I get a chance to see how other companies are run. I get a chance to make better decisions. The kind of the buzzword is better, better, better. If you're part of a Vistage group or a group of peers, you're going to be a better leader. You're going to have better decisions because you get to watch how people make decisions, and you're going to have better results. So my 7 secrets of success, that's what I got. And there's probably many others. But for me, if I were to buy a company, I would see if they've got these things. Because if they do, that company's more valuable. And it's well run through culture, through accountability, through self-awareness. Processes and procedures are in place. You got a leader who's freed up to be strategic. So when it comes down to it, this is what I came at the very bottom of my little sheet here. Your job as a leader is really not to have a job. Your job is to get work done through others if you're a CEO. But your job really, for all of us at all levels, is to inspire our team. So the question is, are you inspiring your team? The other is to coach your team. And we just saw we just got to see the Eagles, play, and what a great coach Andy Reid was. Great coach. The other team had a better line. But anyway, and the last part is to lead the team as a visionary. And so your job at the top, and here are the words we have too, it's lonely at the top. So use these 7 secrets, surround yourself with like-minded people, and be humble and be curious.
Wow.
Justin, thanks for letting me be on your broadcast. I appreciate it.
Derek, it is an absolute honor to have you on here as a mentor of mine for the last 7+ years. And I've implemented all of these at some point through my business career, and it has led us to where we are today. The opportunity to listen and hear from someone of your stature and your accomplishments and your tenure of almost 50 years in the business community is why this podcast exists. Because we just took 50 effing years of hard work and compressed it into 30 minutes. And guys, You can't do that anywhere. You can read a book. It's going to take you 3 hours, and how many editors? Like Derek and I just jumped on this thing and we just riffed. And this is the power of networking, of trades talk, of podcasting. And it's just an honor to share this with the world, to share this with the listeners. Thank you guys for listening. And Derek, thank you for sharing. What a great 7 areas and 7 things we can do to build our business. Closing words. What do you have?
And business is not easy. And guess what? The number one thing I've learned in my years as a Vistage chair, it's all about people. Whether it's your people internally, your clients, your customers, your suppliers, it's all about people. And so as I finish this one off on the very last little piece, it's pretty interesting sitting around a group of really sage people, and all of a sudden somebody's got a problem and they're asking for, it's called working in an issue. You go around the room and you go, oh, that's not my problem. Next thing you know, you go, oh my God, that could happen. That I need to take action now to prepare myself. And so anyway, listeners, hey, be curious, jump into it and put yourself out there. Read the book Traction, and good luck with your 7 secrets to success. I might buy your company.
Good luck, guys. Get out and get done and stay curious, my friends. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Trade Talk. In the meantime, take care and give us